Some say our country has not been this divided since the Civil War, but tonight we introduce you to one remote county that might be breaking the norm. Voters in a small corner of Washington state have now picked the winning president for decades. Our Zohreen Shah traveled to Clallam County to talk with residents in this independent-minded community who also have a message for a very divided Washington.
It's the county with the country's pulse. And it's just about as far from Washington, D.C. as you can get.
How do you guys make sense of what's going on in Washington right now?
I don't make sense of it.
Nor do I.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
For the last 40 years, Clallam County, Washington, the nation's secluded northwest corner, has voted for the winning presidential candidate in every election.
We don't serve anything here that I wouldn't put on my plate.
Restaurant owner Young Johnson has lived here for decades.
I voted for Bush, Obama twice, President Trump, and now President-elect Biden.
Her voting record tells the story of this independent community.
Typically, I vote with my heart and the state of the country at that time. So the person I voted for probably is the person that I thought would best fit that situation.
Because we're so remote and so relatively isolated, our county has a real history of independence and creativity.
Creativity and collaboration. Marco Zayas is one of the county's 3 commissioners. He's a Democrat. His counterparts are a Republican, Commissioner Bill Peach, and an independent, Commissioner Randy Johnson. These men and their county, a microcosm of the country, although a far more peaceful version.
Even though someone may have a Trump sign up on one side and someone may have a Biden sign up on the next day, people all come together to work for the community and what the needs are.
Your county has gone for the White House winner every single time for the last 40 years. Why is that?
I think it's because we've got a spectrum, and what's missing is people that just have to have it their way and not any other way.
Going into the election, at least 19 of the nation's more than 3,000 counties had chosen every presidential winner since 1980. 18 went for Trump this year. It appears Clallam County is now the lone survivor. But as with many communities crippled by the pandemic, its economy is teetering at the edge.
There are so many businesses just barely hanging on right now.
Separated by a short drive and ferry to hard-hit Seattle, Clallam's port is almost entirely cut off from neighboring Canada. A summer of tourism lost.
I am concerned that without any significant federal relief, we'll see a lot of small businesses disappear.
Veteran local newspaper reporter Paul Gottlieb says much like the rest of the country, Trump himself also became a top issue.
They were upset with President Trump, and they were not going to vote for him this time. So I think that as national indications have shown, the election was largely about President Trump, and that's another way that we reflected the national mood.
A national mood perhaps more divided than ever.
What advice do you guys have right here in Washington to the folks over at in the other Washington?
I think that people want their government to, and their elected officials to work together and to solve problems.
With COVID cases surging, the most pressing problem is clear.
It was an emotional moment. My daughter and her family contracted COVID.
COVID hit so close to home, Johnson decided it just wasn't worth it keeping her restaurant open.
On a Friday night, we typically have a full bar.
She wanted to give President Trump a chance and her vote, but the month before the election was the final straw.
And then President Trump contracted COVID. The president is the president, so he's going to get the best of care, whether it be doctors, technology, facilities, anything. My daughter is just my daughter. She's just an American citizen. It's families like this all over the world and all over the country. They have to go through this alone. But he came out and said it was nothing. At that point, I thought, you know, you have no empathy. America is dying. America is struggling.
A struggle this independent-minded community hopes new leadership in Washington might make a little bit easier.
Is Biden going to get your vote again over whoever the other party puts up?
That remains to be seen. That depends on what he does in the 4 years that he has, and the state of the country at that time. So we'll see. But you know, anything I do is not just for myself, but it's for the country. We're all Americans. So we need to unite again.
For ABC News in Clallam County, Washington, I'm Zohreen Shah.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.